I'll let him go into what this project was about and what's going to happen tonight.
All right, well, thank you all, and like Terry said, my name is Travis Profit. I am a 2004 graduate of Emory Henry and grew up in East Tennessee, so I'm kind of from this neck of the woods, was gone for many years, and returned this past year to start teaching and to work as the Associate Director of the Appalachian Center for Civic Life, which is sort of the primary office or body on campus that gets students out to the community. And we're also glad to have Dr. Cal Stanley, who's the Director of the Appalachian Center, with us tonight. But we thank you so much, and we thank Terry for the opportunity to have given, as you can see, a pretty good group of students a really great opportunity to get to know Marion a little bit better this semester, and to maybe found out some helpful information to think about the future for the Senior Center here in Marion. But like I said, Dr. Shelley Coe and I met with Terry back in October just to kind of get this ball rolling. So this is a long time coming, this moment right now. So we're very glad. And I've also been very lucky to have Mr. Carter Bauman, if he'll come up and stand up. He's a senior, about to graduate from Emory Henry, remarkably talented, and has served as part of the senior project, helping me keep everything organized and straight this whole time when organizing all these students throughout the community. So he's going to introduce things a little bit. And all of these fine folks in the front row have something to say tonight. So I thank you for your time and attention. And our friend Sydney here has given you all some more information to maybe look at while we go. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you guys for having me. Like I said, my name is Carter Bauman. And I'm going to do a little introduction here. Terry had originally, whoa.
Oh, I thought that was quick.
Basically, the questions Terry had asked for us to look at were the perceptions of the current senior center, possibilities for new programs and activities, and possible space and facility considerations. Do we want to stay at the current senior center or possibly move to the challenge rec centers? And we approached this by doing 3 different little events. We made all the sociology and PPCS students volunteer for at least an hour, 2 hours, just to create relationships in the community, so we knew kind of who we were working with. And then surveying, we had 2 different days of canvassing where we went north of Main Street and south. Basically, we covered all of Marion, and we gave out surveys. And then we did focus groups at about 4 different locations throughout the town, churches, local residents. My aunt, Mary Beth Graham, was nice enough to host us. So, and yeah, now I'm going to pass it off to Taylor. She's going to let you know a little bit about the volunteer day.
Okay, I'm Taylor, and our first step in approaching this project was to go out into Marion and spend some time with some of the senior citizens. So we took a couple hours on several different occasions, and we went to the Marion Senior Center and the Francis Marion Manor Nursing Home. And there we just spent some time playing games with the senior citizens. I think the most popular among students was chicken foot. And then we also just kind of talked with them and got to know them a little bit better. And we were able to make connections with them, which I think was surprising for some of us, considering we've never met these people before. So it was really a really good experience. And we did this because we knew it was important to start forming these relationships with some of these people whose voices would play an important role in this new senior center. And we were able to get to know them a little bit better, but we were also got to know kind of where they come from. And that gives us a little bit of insight into what they think is important in a senior center. And so our next step was to do surveying, and Danielle is going to talk to you a little bit about that.
Alright, so I had the chance to work with both sides of the project. I'm also in the sociology class, so I got to get on hands-on with survey design. We took the questions that Terry brought to us about the perception of the center, possible new programs, and the space and facility concerns. So we kind of developed our survey around those questions and those topics that we wanted to address. And we came up with 10 which we thought would best address all of these and get us the most information. So just a few example questions from there would be, we asked about childcare. We asked if anyone who would be attending the center would need the child care. So we didn't want that to keep somebody from being able to come to the center if they couldn't find babysitter or anything along those lines. And then we also wanted to know what the best time of day would be, so we knew when to try to plan things or events and things along those lines. At the end of the survey, after we covered everything that we thought needed to be covered, we asked if there's anything we missed, just to cover all the bases, make sure we got everything that would help us further our project. So we went out on February 21st to this part of Marion. It's a little fuzzy, but this is our first trip, and we decided on this area and the next area that I'll show you based off of some phone calls and research that people in the PPCS class had done to find the most densely populated area with senior citizens. The first day, we split into two groups from 8 to 12, and we had a little bit of issues with the weather, but I still think it turned out all right that day. And then the next day, we went March 21st. We went to the next area that we decided would be the best place to go to get surveys. This time, we went a little bit later in the day. We went from 12 to 4. So we got a few more surveys this day. I feel like both of them were pretty productive, and they helped us get the information that we needed to further our project. And Libby will take the next section about focus groups.
We conducted a series of 4 focus groups to better understand what seniors are currently involved in and what they would like to see come to Marion. The 3 questions that we asked were, what recreational or social activities are you currently involved with? What features or offerings of a new community center would convince you to take advantage of the facility in addition to what you are involved with? And is there anything else you would like us to convey to the town as we convene this discussion? We received a variation of answers as we were able to work with 40 citizens during the focus groups. The data we collected from these groups not only allowed us to get to know the members of the community, but also to convey some recommendations from the seniors to the town. Later in the presentation, Sabrina will explain these recommendations, but for now, Tanner will start to discuss the data we received from the surveys.
Hello, my name's Tanner. As you can see, throughout the survey, we surveyed roughly 70 people and ages 55 and older. And females were the biggest number that we had. And the biggest age group we had was 65 to 69. And now Jessica will tell you a little bit more about our survey results.
Okay, so we have some little pie charts here for you. They're really fun. So basically, after we broke down the demographics, which was kind of what Tanner focused on, we had to figure out like who we were surveying, what age groups those were, and everything before we could go on to like the actual questions themselves. So the responses that we received were really positive overall. 35.4% of seniors said that they would attend weekly, which is a really good amount of seniors. And even 23% of them said that they would attend more than once per week. So altogether, that was a really great number. We also asked them which activities they would enjoy the most at the new center, and they said 27% said that a computer class, technology class would be really interesting. And the close second was the cooking and nutrition class. So we thought those statistics were really interesting. And I thought if we have a senior center, we have to have a way for the seniors to get there. And we wanted to see who could get themselves there and who thought that they might need help with the transportation. And almost 80% of our seniors said that they could get there on their own, but 10% said that they would need public transportation for it. So, that's something that you can definitely consider in what you're thinking about transportation. And, the last thing is, when you're planning activities, you basically have to have good timing for those activities because you want attendance. So when would our seniors come to these activities? Most of them, about 44% of them, said that they can make the afternoon activities. And then almost 36% said that they preferred the morning sessions for the activities. And Sabrina had the slides with the interesting word clouds. She's going to tell you a little bit more about it.
So when we asked the questions for the focus groups, we wanted to take extensive notes. So everything that people told us, we put into a word generator, and the more the word came up, the bigger the word ends up looking. So wellness center and church were some of the big activities that our seniors are currently involved in. This includes volunteering at the hospital and continued education and local travel. When we asked what would make people actually want to come that they're not already doing, we got a lot of interesting results like cooking and the technology side. And people wanted social spaces, so where people could do coffee hour, film nights, and a bowling alley that I'd also go to. Things like that. So it's not just about, it wouldn't just be about the seniors, it'd be about the community. Because these are things everyone's kind of interested in. So I'm going to bring it back to Travis.
Absolutely. And again, I'll be very quick because these are the folks that have done all the work. But I just wanted to offer that during the surveying days and during all the focus group conversations, of which I'm, I think, the only person who sat in on all of them, I wanted to offer my reflections that how impressed and how humbled I was by all the folks that we talked to. The senior community here in Marion is remarkable and busy and active and cares deeply about this community. And not just for their own well-being, but really what we picked up on a lot was the seniors' interest in the future of this community and our younger generations like us, in the ways in which the senior community and a senior center or a proposed community center that would maybe reach broader age groups could really serve in that role. There's such a strong interest in that and a real hope for that there would be a really thriving, centrally located, exciting, educational, social space for people to be together in. And not just the seniors, but people of all ages in the community. And I think that it's honest to say that there was a good bit of healthy skepticism as to whether or not that could actually happen. But I would say the coupling of that skepticism was a lot of hopefulness that it could. And I know that as we concluded all of the focus group conversations and even some of the door-to-door surveying conversations, that message was really pervasive, that we communicate that with town council, that there is a really strong desire for that kind of a space and a resource in this community. And Carter is going to kind of wrap this up, and then we'll take some questions.
Okay, so like it says, other things to consider for the facility. If you do possibly move to the rec center, parking is a big issue, accessibility, obviously. Like Jessica said, transportation is an issue, so 10% of those people would need public transportation. It says here space for community use, so maybe like an open hour where people can, come in and, use the facilities, and possibly maybe for birthdays and stuff like that, where people can rent it out. And then at the bottom we have communication issues, which a lot of people claim they knew stuff was going on at the senior center, but it was either too late after it happened, or they didn't have time to put it into their schedule. So, some maybe, I don't know if there's a newsletter, but something online where people can easily track what's going on at the senior center. I wanted to touch on the ENH and Marion partnership, and how basically the first session we went out, it was cold, we had jackets on, but we didn't, I felt like we weren't as well received as the second time when we came and we had E&H name tags on, and people, you know, would talk to us about Emory Henry and how they were connected to it. So it's clear, and you guys have the banners going down Main Street, that partnership is growing, and it's a strong partnership. But we also want to, recommend that y'all continue to use us and continue to strengthen that partnership. Billy Ham, I think his name was, he was speaking, he was saying, he doesn't have time to do a fundraiser. Well, maybe that's something, Emory could help you out.